Okay, so for the second candlestick pattern we're going to be using for entries throughout the first two strategies that you learn and throughout the rest of this course is called the bullish and the bearish 38.2% candle. Now, if I asked you what types of candles these were, probably 90% of you would say those are hammer candles. And if I asked you what types of candles these were, 90% of you would most likely say shooting star candles. Well, I simplified that by calling it bullish and bearish 38.2% candles because of the way that I identify these candles. Remember, what do we need every part of our trading to have? Set in stone rules. So that goes for candlestick patterns like this, just like it does for engulfing patterns. So pretty much I just found a way to objectively define hammer and shooting star candlestick patterns. The way I do that is with a Fibonacci retracement. So in order to find Fibonacci retracements on TradingView, it's over here on the left. You can just click, I don't know what this is called, Gann and Fibonacci tools. And once you click it, go down to Fibonacci retracement. That's what we're using, is the Fibonacci retracement. I have it favorited right here, so that's where I'll be clicking for the rest of the video. But once you have your Fibonacci retracement, the way we're going to define these candles is by taking that Fibonacci retracement from the low, the very low of the wick, all the way up to the very high wick of this specific candle. And if the entire body of the candle is above the 38.2% retracement, then we have what I call a hammer candle, or bullish 38.2% candle is how I will be defining these. Now, if you want to customize your Fibonacci to only have the 38.2% retracement, all you have to do is double click it, and then you can come here and you can delete all of your other retracements other than the 38.2%. You can then make that a black retracement. You can customize the entire thing here. For me, I'm going to get the line a little bit bigger just to make it easier to see while I'm teaching, and that would be something you could do if you would like to, if you only are going to use Fibonacci retracements for this specific pattern. This is the way you could set it up. So at this point, we have what I consider a valid 38.2% candle because we have taken a Fibonacci retracement from the low of the wick of the candle to the high of the wick of the candle, and the entire body is above the 38.2% retracement. That means the lowest part of the body, the highest part of the body, literally none of the body can be touching the 38.2% retracement, and the body has to be above it. That is a bullish version. And you might be asking, why do I have a red one here? It is just to explain to you that we can have this be a red or green candle. The color on these does not matter at all. So this 38.2% candle is exactly the same as this and has just as much strength. The fact that the body of this one's green does not give it much more strength considering the testing that I've done. For that reason, a bullish 38.2% pattern can be green or red. With a red candle, I use the same exact thing. Pull the Fibonacci retracement from the very low of the wick to the very high of the wick of that specific candle. The entire body must be above the 38.2% retracement. So that's a bullish version of the 38.2% candle. I bet you can guess what a bearish version of the 38.2% candle is. Hopefully you've already gotten it, but pretty much what we're going to be doing is taking a Fibonacci retracement from the highest point of the candle, or the high of the wick. We're going to be pulling that all the way down to the lowest point of the candle, or the low of the wick of the candle. And in this case, we need the body of the candle to be completely below the 38.2% retracement. No part of the body can be touching it, and the whole body must be stumbled on my words, must be below the 38.2% retracement. Now, to define this, what I'm pretty much saying is that we pull from the high to the low of the candle, and the open and close of our candle must be below the 38.2%, but I just figured it was easier if I explain it by telling you the body of the candle and the entire body. For the bearish version, we can also have the candle itself, the body of the candle, being green or red. The same exact rules apply for red or green. We're still pulling from the swing high of the candle to the swing low of the candle, and we're making sure the entire body, or the open and close of this candle, is below the 38.2% retracement when we pull that retracement from high to low for a bearish version of the 38.2% candle. So hopefully you have a grasp on what this candlestick pattern is. Now we're going to go down to some charts, take a look at a few examples on real charts so you'll have an even better grasp on it. That way you will know at least enough about these patterns to start understanding them when we get to the strategy building session. Just understand that this engulfing pattern we looked at in the last couple of videos and the 38.2% pattern, bullish and bearish, are the two entries, candlestick pattern entries, that we will be using the most throughout this course. So now let's go ahead and go down to some real charts and check out some real examples of the 38.2% candle. Okay, here we are on a chart, and I know you don't have a Fibonacci retracement with you, so you really can't exactly find the 38.2% candles, but just try to point out which ones you think look like they could be 38.2% candles on the chart you see right now. And I'm talking about the entire chart that you are looking at. Go ahead and pause the video, and I'll wait about 2 or 3 seconds to give you time to do that, and then I'm going to point out the ones that I see. So the ones that I see are here, and we're actually going to see how good my eyes are at this. Here. I haven't checked any of these yet. That's why I said we're going to see how good my eyes are. Here, and here. So ask yourself, did you point out these same ones? Because those are the ones that I would point out. But now let's check my work and see if I was correct. So here, what would this be, bearish or bullish? It would be a bearish version of the pattern. And what we would need to do is scroll the chart up and pull a Fibonacci retracement from where? From the highest high of the wick or of that candle down to the lowest low of that candle. Yes, I was right. So here we have a valid 38.2% candle. Why? Because the entire body of this candle is below the 38.2% retracement, which is our black line right here. And we've pulled the Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low of the candle. With that being the case, we have a valid bearish 38.2% candle. Let's move on and see if I'm correct here. Here we have a bullish 38.2% candle. And if you notice, this was a green candle, but again, it does not matter what the color of the candle is. Considering the entire body closed below 38.2%, this is a bearish candle. And here I'm expecting this to be a 38.2% bullish candle. Let's check my work. From low to high for bullish candles, we pull from the low of the wick to the high of the wick, and we do in fact have a candle that closes and opens, or the entire body is above the 38.2% retracement. Next up, I see this as a bearish version of the 38.2% candle. Let's check and see. I was correct there as well. Again, bearish version, pulling from the swing high to the swing low. Color of the body doesn't matter, but the entire body must be below our black line, the 38.2% retracement. The next one I saw was bearish here. I can almost tell that that's correct. How would I find out if it's correct? I would pull from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick, and I would ensure that the entire body is in the bottom, or the entire body is below our black line, which is the 38.2% retracement. Here, bullish, you can already tell with this one, but I'll measure it just to give you another example of how we're measuring. Bottom of the wick, top of the wick, of the whole candle. Then we're looking for the body to be above the 38.2% retracement. That was correct. Here, we have a really good version of one of the strategies that we will talk about later in the course. Let's say, I'm just going to give you a really brief overview of this right now. What we have here, and you don't have to follow along to this. Don't worry if you don't. I'm just trying to get you familiar with this strategy. If we had a level right here of major structure resistance, we've already talked about how we find those, right? So right here, if we had a major structure level of resistance, we also currently have price making higher highs. We'll talk about this in a strategy. Again, don't worry if you're confused, but we have price making higher highs. We have RSI making lower highs. This is something called RSI divergence. So later on in the video, we're going to talk about how to put RSI divergence and combine that with major levels of structure and candlestick patterns like our 382 bearish candlestick pattern in order to find reasons to sell or buy in a particular market. That was just a brief overview. Do not let it confuse you. Just wanted to give you an example of how we would put all the things that you've already learned together in order to start creating strategies. And that's what we're going to talk about a little later in the course. Right now, you should have a good handle on the candlestick entry patterns that we're going to be using throughout the course. I also want to go over chart patterns with you to cap out and kind of round out the full scope of technical analysis. And I'm going to talk you through the main chart patterns, as in double bottoms, double tops, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulder patterns that we're going to be using throughout the course and later on in order to help us build strategies. So that's what we're going to do next, is talk a little more about chart patterns instead of just candlestick patterns. I'll see you in that video, and we will get this technical analysis mastery course completed directly afterwards. I'll see you guys there.